Hey guys, it's Whitney and welcome to another edition of the vlog. If you can't tell from my voice, I have a cold. I'm sure my voice will just keep getting deeper through this because that's what it does. When I get a cold, the upper register goes and it slips into where my voice is naturally placed, which is much lower and doesn't exactly match up with all of this. So this is for Agent Carter, episode 1.06, A Sin to Air. Man, that's a great episode title. Actually, this entire show has amazing episode titles. But this one was an episode that we've been teased from the very beginning, right? Well, this time we've been teased constantly about how Peggy's life would turn upside down if they found out that she'd been working with Howard, and that's exactly what happened. But before we go into a play-by-play, I just want to talk about some of the really great moments that we saw. First, we got to see Peggy really fight, and we're not just talking a one-on-one. No, we're talking Peggy taking on several SSR agents so that she and Jarvis could get out of the automat, and she just knocked them down flat. I mean, there was no coming up against her. She just completely dominated that entire fight. And for once and for all, I think that we can definitely say that Steve Rogers learned how to fight from Peggy, because that was straight up Captain America, the First Avenger. It was beautiful. Secondly, the show's given us a lot of really cool female wish fulfillment. In the course of the show, she's come up against some obstacles that women very often come up against. Being undervalued because they're a woman. In the last episode, Peggy, of course, was validated because the Howling Commandos, who are the heroes to the SSR, not only did they acknowledge how valuable Peggy was, they deferred to her. So by the time of the end of the episode, clearly it had shifted how people saw her. And in this episode, actually, we had a different kind of scenario, and this was with Dottie. I think many women have had unwanted sexual advances. The creepy guy putting a hand on your shoulder, on your arm, on your knee, something like that. And most of the time you wish you could just break their wrist, punch them or something. And in this show, Peggy gets to punch people. It's pretty nice. And in this case, Dottie flat out flipped the creepy dentist over and killed him. And we were all kind of cheering for her, I think. And you keep forgetting that it's sometimes that Dottie's the bad guy. We shouldn't exactly be rooting for that. Speaking of Leviathan, I want to say that I am deeply disappointed in myself for not realizing that the doctor was a plant. I mean, it was pretty telegraphed that it was like, as Peggy's questioning about everything that he knew about the Black Widow program, which obviously we don't have a name for it yet, but it's the Black Widow program. I was like, wait, why didn't he, if he was in the same building, why wouldn't he be aware of this school for girls, which clearly hadn't been abandoned for too long since there was a crazy serial killing girl? But it just, everything was too easy. And then when he was leaning out the window and Dottie's there with a sniper gun, I was like, oh, he's gonna die. Much in the same way that as soon as the dentist had said, oh, no, I sent the staff home for the long weekend, I was like, well, he's gonna die. And no, psychologist guy, he did not die. He was Leviathan, and shame on me. And I love the idea that he's using hypnotism and whatnot to control weak members. That he almost had Dooley. I mean, it was just obviously Dooley's going to become a thing because now Dooley trusts him and he's not going to trust Peggy. So amazing. It was just a really interesting story, and now that Peggy is captured, I'm kind of freaking out because we only have 2 episodes to wrap up this entire arc, and I just don't know where they're gonna go. I don't know how we're gonna get there. How are we gonna... I mean, I'm pretty sure what they showed in the promo was a pretty clear indication of how Peggy's gonna become valuable in this, but still, it's like, nah! And there's one thing that they keep hinting at, and I'm kind of going to make a guess. So they keep talking about the Battle of Finau. Okay, I'm not even sure if I'm saying it right. I'm finding this interesting because there's a bunch of dead Russians. We find out that, Howard Stark showed up to help with cleanup, and he came back deeply disturbed, right? Like, he was unsettled by it. Those were Jarvis's words in this episode. And at first I was like, well, what are the Russians working on? And then I was like, wait a second, this is World War II, so we still had Hydra, we still had the Germans. And I thought maybe we've had this answer all along. Because if you look at Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., we've had a couple pretty prominent appearances of Peggy and the Howling Commandos and whatnot during the war. And maybe, just maybe, we know exactly what happened on that battlefield already. That's right. I am going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to say that it was the Diviner. That it was that. And so Howard came, and there's just all of those, like, burnt out, destroyed bodies, and it's just a thought. I could be totally wrong, but it seemed like maybe I'm thinking too hard about there being some kind of a link. Maybe we already know the answer to this question. Anyways, that's going to wrap it up for this week. Next week, oh, craziness. I'm sure to be over the cold, so I'm sure the video will be up on time. At any rate, you can find me all over the internet. I have a website, whitneydrake.com. Please subscribe to these videos. On Twitter, I'm at Whitney D. I have a Facebook page, Geek Pirate Mom. And I have a Tumblr account, Winged Kiari, which is where I spend most of my fandom free time. And it's not entirely safe for work, but I do talk a lot about Agent Carter and feminism and all kinds of related topics to the show. Anyways, if you guys have any questions, suggestions, things like that, just leave a comment. Okay? Talk to you later. Bye!